I want to also acknowledge that yesterday communities were present and who listened attentively to many, many presentations. And as we came towards the end of the day, they made the observation, correctly so, that they also needed a voice in this energy summit. And so we agreed that a team representing community and workers would be given an opportunity now to come up and give their perspectives, not only on what they heard yesterday, but also what their expectations are as communities and workers as we undertake this transformative journey. I want to ask Thomas Mnguni and his team to please come up now and address us.
Thank you, Program Director. Thank you to everyone, Honorable Premier, and thanks for giving us this opportunity. My name is Thomas Mnguni, and I'm campaigning with Groundwork. Groundwork is an environmental justice and service developmental organization, and we work throughout the country. Most of our work revolves around supporting community organizations so that they can understand their rights and advocate for changes which are based on their needs and the issues they face on a day-to-day basis. So I think it was an honor for us to be here, but having said that, it was also saddening to spend the entire day listening to people speaking about us, speaking about solutions that should address our problem without having had a way from our side. So I think it is very important that we realize that in order for just racism to be just, it needs to include all sectors of society. Now, I'm not going to waste time. I'm going to ask some of my colleagues, which I think the director has already mentioned. Some are from labor and some are community people. I'll be happy if they share their experiences, their lived experiences, not just experiences, but their lived experiences, so that when we begin to talk about a just transition or a just energy transition, we should take that into consideration as well. So I will ask Comrade Jiso from Naledi to come forward and see if they can share some of the work we do as a collective, but also share the level of interaction he has with the work on a day-to-day basis.
Thank you, Thomas. Good morning, everyone. All protocol observed. And happy Africa Day. I think it's quite apt that we're having these discussions on Africa Day. Like Thomas has said, we want to thank the cluster for giving us the opportunity to be able to come here and just give a brief input from labor's perspective as well as communities. We've been working together as labor and communities, civil society, in trying to highlight these issues of a just transition. But we find that in a lot of instances, those that are going to be most affected by this transition are often sidelined. And we received a lot of input yesterday, very good inputs yesterday. And we want to make sure that we don't just become participants or delegates sitting there, but we also give inputs in these types of engagements and be given the opportunity. Because a lot of these ideas come from the communities as well as the labor. Just to remind those that don't know that the just transition is a concept that comes from the labor movement. In the early 2000s, and more recently in South Africa through COSATU in the 2009 and 2010s. And I see Comrade Rudy, Comrade Boss, good morning, who was spearheading this work on the just transition, is here today to further take that issue, that work of the just transition, into now the financing of this work. And we hope in that financing, Comrade Rudy, workers as well as labor is included in that financing. So mine won't be long. I just want to give, in terms of the labor movement, we recently, as COSATU, released a just transition blueprint, basically building on the work that was started by comrades in the 2010 around the just transition. And we have identified top 5 priorities in the research that we did, mostly here in Mpumalanga, that focused on the energy and mining industries, the agricultural sector, as well as the transport sector. Now, these are all sectors that are quite pivotal and quite vital in this province of Mpumalanga. And the top 5 priorities that we identified was that there needs to be employment creation and sustainable industrial policy. There's been lots of initiatives, such as the 1 million kind of jobs campaign, that early on in the 2009 to 2010 identified the employment opportunities that could be created from initiatives such as the Just Transition. And we need to look back and work with civil society organizations who are really down the groundwork to identify where employment opportunities lie. The second priority was around the universal basic income grant. It's becoming more and more of a feature in the scene. I think Dr. Oliver mentioned the issue of the basic income grant earlier on in his input. And we want to emphasize that the basic income grant is going to be vital, especially for those workers who are going to lose jobs in the coal mines as well as the coal-fired power stations. Number 3, the reskilling and upskilling of workers. Again, this has been emphasized quite a bit, so reskilling and upskilling, and we need to be doing that now. That reskilling and upskilling is already needed and needs to be prioritized as something of yesterday. We go to the RDP houses where you have solar water heaters installed. 60% of those solar water heaters are not functioning right now. That is because no artisans have been trained to do the maintenance and fixing of those solar water heaters. So that reskilling and upskilling needs to be happening right now. We need to be having material colleges, the CETAs here with us, identifying how and when they will be implementing those training and reskilling programs. And then the fourth one, which is probably the most important, is land redistribution. We can't do nothing without the land. 6,000 mines are sitting derelict, unclosed, unrehabilitated. And that is land that could be used by communities. Look here from my colleagues, how some communities have initiatives and ideas of how they can reuse those abandoned mines for employment creation and creating small-scale industries. And the last and probably the most controversial is the issue of ending austerity. We need to be, as a government, putting our money where our mouth is. This transition needs to happen with government support, not just with donor funding, not just with grants. It needs to be happening from a local government perspective. I've read a number of the IDPs, and climate change is always a feature, and just transition is always a feature in the IDP documents. However, budget is never there. So we need to be putting our money where our mouth is and be leading as a government in terms of the financing of this just transition. And I hope Comrade Ruby will, in this input, will address some of those issues. Thank you very much.
Good morning. My name is Mnguni from an organization called Groundwork Social and Environmental Justice Network in Script Treaty. I'd like to greet everybody here and all protocol observed. One of the main issues that we've seen yesterday, we've heard very good inputs from everybody. But then one worrying issue is that all these issues are being addressed about what is going on in the future. But then again, communities, people that are going to be affected tremendously about this transition are not being mentioned. The field that is here is not more of a just transition. We are seeing a transition. So now, as communities, we plead that information from top government to the provinces filter down, and as it filters down to the local government, it should be executed as it is, because our country is being destroyed by the scourge of corruption, crime, that just leads to social ills that we see in the townships. So now, we plead for the transparency, we plead for the integration of development plans, and we plead that all information should be accessible to the ordinary man on the street so that they know what is it that should be done, what is it that they should do for their livelihoods. Because now, if this transition, if this just transition that we talk about doesn't get to be just, then we are going to see a whole different social ills beyond drugs, prostitution, and things that we see in our townships. But then we would see parents moving from one place to the other for work. Because now Middleburg and Witbank are places that are hotspots for the coal belt. So now imagine if these parents move from one place to another because they don't have jobs, what is going to happen to the children? So now we plead for access to council meetings, adherence to basic principles of democracy. Let's apply Ubuntu in whatever it is that is being done. Access to land, because now if we do not land, what are the women and children are going to do? Because now we have to go back to simple economies that we had in the past, other than go to buy spinach at Pick and Pay or wherever that we get to. People need to relearn, basic skills of growing their own tomatoes, their own spinach in their own backyard gardens. basic information as to what is the government planning on this just transition. People in the communities need to know. Information has to be in public places like police stations, clinics, public libraries, places like that. Because now those are basic places where people get to go to, and all your municipality offices and other places around that people get to access most of the time. Also, plans. Our municipalities need to have these needs to have plans in their LED offices so that people can also access information, because now information is key, and information is something that people could also use for their livelihoods. They can make decisions as to what if, now that the municipality is doing this, what is it that one can do for their own lives. With just transition, new economies are developing, and the lovely thing about it is that new jobs, new skills, new things are going to be done. There's hope for employment for the youth. There's hope for women as well. And we are, we are, we are optimistic that the future is bright, but then we plead for open democracy. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Let me quickly apologize about my head. I don't want to open my sunroof so that I can scare a lot of people. So this is actually apologizing. And let me, acknowledge, our protocol of death, starting with our honorable Prema, this training, our NPCs, our mayors, Mnguni Baba, Ubaba, David Lagazi, Sawanga Baba, Mentor Yetu, our communities and NGOs. My name is Kilaren Bogazulu. I'm from Emelo, that's Valley District Municipality. And I would like to touch, the issue of rehabilitation, since our communities, are suffering, dealing, in terms of unrehabilitated mines and other underground containers and fires that are currently occurring in some of our places, especially in the Pennsylvania municipality, and right here in Canada, district municipality. And we would like to thank, the provincial, and the PTC, Presidential Climate Commission, for this opportunity, especially to us as communities, to come and express ourselves or raise our voice on environmental issues. And I will be focusing more on our community open agenda. As community of Mpumalanga, we have managed to come together, and we started with our own community open agenda based on just transition that is going to be fair and that is going to leave no one behind, especially community members and other stakeholders who are very much keen on this just transition. Since the issue of climate change is no longer an illusion, it is realistic, to the ground and affecting, our fellow brothers and sisters, since, everyone is right there, what is happening currently in KZN. So, Dr. Christine Oliver, you said right when you said, rehabilitation is one of the fundamental issues that must be highly considered in Mpumalanga. I'll be touching, at our open agenda, the issue of rehabilitation. Based on coal mining and landscape, since, are safe for communities, post-coal mining landscape must be rehabilitated and used for food security and safe livelihoods, dangerous features like open pits, accessible polluted water, smoldering coal heaps, and underground sinks are eradicated. Access to land and land reform should be prioritized as a political and economic imperative to address the disposition and equality. Rehabilitation should be redistributed to the communities. That simply means rehabilitation must be centered, on our communities. Communities must take, a leading role to rehabilitation. We are not just talking about rehabilitation as communities. We are talking, about rehabilitation that is going to consist of 3 areas. That is rehabilitation, that is the restoration of our land, and the land so that it can be able to regenerate. Communities have an immediate right to use mining land that is not used, as is often leased to white farmers. The state must ensure there is an adequate financial provision for coal mine rehabilitation by implementing the 2015 Financial Provision Regulation, and therefore only tightening the laws around financial, provision and enforcement of rehabilitation provision, provision. There should be transparency around financially rehabilitations. In most cases, there is no transparency, when it comes to, provision rehabilitation. You will find out that in most cases, the so-called, business rescue practitioners, they will come, and in the name of rescuing the situation, only to find out, they are looting, the remaining minerals and worsening the situation, whereby, mines have left the land bleeding and ravaged. So we request, communities to be centered, or the communities to lead the processes of rehabilitation and not, the so-called business rescue practitioners. Accurate assessment of financial provision must include standard of rehabilitation that enables post-mining land use that is economically beneficial to mining affected communities. Information about the full scope of rehabilitation must be available and published, so the extent of the damage is public. I know, most of our authorities or regulators, they are not aware about the situation that is currently taking place on the ground that is highly affecting, our communities. All those abandoned mines that, was left unrehabilitated. So we are calling, the government and the authorities to enforce, the law. Information about the state and all spheres should develop a multi-state forums where community members have the appropriate decision-making powers, opportunity to interact with the Department of Minerals and Resource Energy, Department of Environment, Forest and Fisheries, Department of Rural Development and Land Reform, and Mineral Council of South Africa. The state and all stakeholders should support issue literacy and access to information for all stakeholders involved in rehabilitation. Rehabilitation funds should be constant into achieving alternative economic activities from the land. So I want to make just a typical example. There is a place where, one of the mines has left and lived, the place has rehabilitated. So their communities, decided, because I think everyone knows the scarcity of land to our communities. So the communities decided, to take upon themselves the responsibility to rehabilitate that particular land. They turned that particular land into an agri-village. So we are calling upon the government to direct, all those provision funds to those affected communities so that the money can be used in the benefit and the development of our communities that we left with the burden of this abundant, schools and pits and underground spontaneous burning mines. In conclusion, I will direct this one to the Department of Mineral Resources and our Mpumalanga Green Cluster to highly, consider working collectively with communities based on one reason. If ever you are going to, sideline the communities or not letting the communities participate meaningfully, you'll be making a plan of mistake whereby you will be leaving the masters of solutions behind. So, alawo mazingizama ukuthi indaba lena sihlangene namuhla kunabafowethu odadewethu abasele emakhaya abafuna ukuthi nabo ngabe bakhona la bayaparticipate meaningfully. Le ndaba lena ingiyethu nabafowethu ama-Afrika okumele ukuthi ayikhuphe. So those are my words and I think. Thank you.
Thanks, comrade. So, I think today I had this element of hey, because part of what I was expecting from him, which has been something we've been picking up when the PCC was doing community consultation, is around 3 elements of justice that we need to think about when we talk about justice. I think the first one is already been made here. We need to think about procedural justice. We don't only want you guys to consult with the community. We want the consultation to be empowering. We want workers and community people to inform decision making. It shouldn't be a cheap box exercise like we're used to in consultation. Because we believe that we might all be seated here right now. That does not mean we know what people are facing on a day-to-day basis and we have solutions for that. I think we can find much better and progressive solutions when we engage with the larger population. My second element of hey was when I saw in the agenda that we will be speaking about the role of local government. Everyone is talking about just transition, but we don't know what is the specific role of local government. I heard yesterday saying we need to create bylaws, we need to develop feed-in tariffs, nothing about awareness, nothing about facilitating a dialogue at the local level. And we all know very well that if people have issues, the first stop, it will not be the province premier. The first stop, it will be local government. And if local government does not create and engage in this dialogue, it becomes frustrating for us. We try as communities. I've got the Honorable Mayor Francisco seated here. He can attest to the fact that we try as communities to engage with local government. To say, guys, this is happening. It's not only going to cost us jobs, it's also going to cost the municipality the much needed revenue to finance service delivery. People come here, they talk about, I want access to land, I want access to water, I want a clear and proper healthcare system. We're not mentioning those here, but this is what people want. And a just transition cannot be a transition if it does not address those issues. It cannot be. Because then we will still be promoting the high levels of inequality we see in this country. The second aspect I was hoping looking at is to say, how do we ensure that a just transition is restorative? We know that we've inherited all this legacy, which has a high level of destruction. And I'm not even going to miss my way, because these things are still happening. We're in Mpumalanga today, Just down the road, there's a huge mine called Tungela. Next to it, there are 1,000 houses. People in the area are trying to say there's spontaneous combustion and all those fumes are affecting us. We're coughing, I saw, but nothing is being done. Of course, the municipality cannot do nothing, nothing that the municipality can do. It's not their competency. Where is the MRE? Why are we seeing spontaneous combustion? That is precisely because the MRE failed to monitor and enforce the law. That land was supposed to have been rehabilitated 20 years ago. It isn't. Today we're talking about traffic of land. We need to rehabilitate. Again, same problem. The MRE is seated with funds for rehabilitation. Those funds are not made available for rehabilitation. No communities are being engaged about when or how land is going to be rehabilitated. So the question would be, Mr. CEO, I'm going to put this to you, and Dr. Christian, I'm going to put this to you. Can you guys get the MRE to release the rehab fund so that it could begin to address the process of rehabilitation? So it's not only land. Part of what people complain about is water. We know that Oliphant's catchment is already compromised, but nobody speaks about treating that. I think Dr. Musa from Center for Geoscience yesterday mentioned that we have abundance of acid mine drainage, especially around the Tamara region. But we don't hear the Department of Water and Sanitation saying we've got a plan to deal with this. But all we hear and all we see is people protesting in the township, saying we don't have water. If we do, we cannot drink it, therefore we need to go and buy. So it doesn't make sense. The basic service people have access to, they can. But we also need to think that in order for us to deal with climate change, in order for us to adapt to climate change, we need land and water. We cannot do without those in order for us to adapt to climate change impacts. Then the third aspect, guys, I'll be very frank. Everyone is sitting here talking about possible business opportunities. We need the government to develop special economic zones so that we can create jobs. We've come from a past where we have the mineral energy complex, and part of that was we need to extract all those minerals, grow the economy, and create jobs. It didn't happen. Live in Tamala. Unemployment rate is above the national rate. So all these mines, all these power stations here, look, why? Just like labor migration. So how do we deal with that? We need to think about how we create jobs locally so that that could be taken into consideration. But earlier when I started, I said, but people, I just want to refer to what the MRC was presenting yesterday. They gave us quite a nice slide. They showed us the inputs, billions of rand, they showed us the add billions of rand, they showed us the output in billions of rand. But that output did not include the cost to health. We pay for our own health when we get sick. The government is spending more than 80 billion in the public health system because the pollution, the dust that comes from mining and the coal combustion sector affects us and we have to pay or have to go to a public hospital. They didn't put that as an output of their activity. They never put the amount in terms of how much water are they contaminating and how much will be needed to fill that water as an output. They didn't mention the land destruction they are causing as an output. So today, we have to compete with enough. I need land to grow my food in order to address food security. I need land to live. That's not food, So now we have to compete because now we need to develop solar plants. We need to develop other plants. Where do we get that land? Because mining side has destroyed all of that land and they are not rehabilitating. So I would be happy if Premier, in terms of our planning, if somebody wants to go and mine, let us include all those externalities in the cost of mining so that ordinary people cannot pay for the externalities that they're not responsible for. So I think for me that is very important. I would want to reiterate, I welcome the presence of our EU partners, and I'll be very frank. Groundwork works with Chief Naledi in terms of the developing just transition dialogue, and we've been supported by the UK Fed, and we acknowledge that. But I would also like to put a big challenge based on our past history. Most of our European partners who are here today, I would say, partly, are responsible to assist in the just transition. We don't want new loans. We've got all this ecological debt we've always been talking about. Maybe it's about time we engage with our European partners to say, as a country, you are responsible, you play the role in extracting our minerals. How do we then work as a collective, not only to get new debt, but to honestly give the government grants to begin to finance just transition? Because I don't think this country is in a position to absorb more debt at this point in time. Debt will impact on ordinary people. So I think we need to begin to talk about that. RE is a technology, and we know that you guys keep patent rights. I think we need to waiver that away. We can't be going to a new technology where we still have to pay a royalty. It doesn't speak to development of the people of South Africa. So I think we need to think about that. Lastly, I think it is very important for us to say, I think Dr. Christian read this, we need to be very clear about value chain. And right now, I hear people talking about, I want land to erect a plant, I want land for that. Nobody is saying, I want land to build a manufacturing plant. Nobody is saying, I want partners, community people, so that we begin to change the system. We've seen how people make profit in terms of ownership. And there was no level of community ownership premium. We need to change the project. We need people in Mpumalanga to own an energy plant. Cannot afford a situation wherein the unbundling of ESCOM, the erection of this plant is going to be in private hands. But at some point in time, those private hands might manipulate the prices of electricity for their own benefit. So we need to begin to say, what kind of social ownership are we going to promote and generate in this program? And we also need to think, in terms of the value chain, people are talking about formal jobs in ESCOM, formal jobs in mining. We forget the informal economy that is tied directly to the mining sector. We need to bring those people on board. Because people washing, people renting their rooms, people providing transport to the mining sector. How do we bring those people on board? So, Chair, I think we honestly need to think about that. And yeah, Chair, I would want to strongly emphasize. In terms of our consultations with communities, we've developed what we call an open agenda on the just transition. And I would want to share this with the Kenya and the community. And the reason why we call it an open agenda is precisely because we say, speak to me, I'll speak to you, then we can convince this area, and ultimately we'll come to a consensus. It's not cast in stone. It says we need to talk to each other to map the future. So there might be new input in terms of this current process between cluster to say if we engage with people, then that may change. But I also have a special presentation for the Department of Mineral Resources. We've got a book titled The Destruction of the High Veld. I think this maps how the issue of mining rights by the Department of Mineral Resources has destroyed Mpumalanga. And you know Mpumalanga contains almost 70% of arable land in the country, and we need to protect that. So I would want to give a copy of this book to the Gemari so that they begin to understand what impact their decisions have on our country. And the last one, and Kenya, again, this one is for you. Titled Down to Zero. It precisely speaks about the just transition, but from a community perspective. Because when we write all of this report, we engage with community people. So I think for us to be very fair, to say, to a certain extent, it represents what most community people want to see happening in the just transition. Then a special credit to the Premier and the entourage. Just transition teacher Premier. I've got more, but Amanda.